Hello, the long overdue event report-ish video is here for FiliBuster from the June 2023 Norwalk Havoc event. This video won't have the same editing as the one last year did because I really don't have the time right now, and I kind of wasn't even planning on doing it after a while. But this is going to go a bit in depth in FiliBuster's performance at the second most recent Norwalk Havoc event. And I'm going to go a little bit into how the bot did and some of the opponents and what went down at the event. So getting to the upgrades for FiliBuster, first of all, main thing is it is now a double disc spinner as opposed to a single disc because that was a design we really wanted to try out and we thought it looked pretty cool. We also have some much improved armor with a TPU shell going around the main chassis with some metal at the front. This version with the forks has aluminum plating with AR500 forks, but we also have a version for fighting horizontals that is solid titanium at the front with no wedgelets. We also have some improvements in terms of the electronics and their reliability, as well as another belt, so hopefully we don't lose any belts, we can keep hitting for a little bit longer. We also had two mini-bots this event. First of all was Vito, aka Chaos, the bot behind the channel name. That bot was brought back as a mini-bot with some custom TPU forks, as well as Geronimo, which was Chef Boy Arby's bot, which we will see a little bit later. Don't have a picture of it right now, but those are some of the mini-bots we had to help with FiliBuster in the fight. Just like last time, we pitted next to some friends and fans of the channel, including Death by the Hit, once again from Team Penguin Robotics, Pandemonium from Team Humblebots, who was there last time with PGF, and Team Duckbots, who had Sad Octopus, and you can see the mini Sad Octopus right next to the big one. Our first matchup of the event was up against Osmia, a two-wheel drive, dual vertical spinner drum from Team Honeycracked. Team Honeycracked is that team that we fought 2 times at the last event, so we were looking forward to have another matchup against the team. For this fight, we put on our fork config to hopefully get under them, as they didn't have too much of a ground game for us to worry about, but we're still worried about the potency of their spinner. But this was a good first fight for FiliBuster to hopefully prove what it can do against a pretty solid-looking opponent. With that said, let's get into that first match of Osmia versus FiliBuster. So let's talk a little bit about this fight. Starting off with the good, the robot was working very well. The spinner got a lot of hits, lasted the full fight. Drive lasted the full fight too, although we did definitely have a few issues with the drive. We had a lot of trouble before the event getting it to work reliably because we had some weird balancing issues with such a big spinner all the way up the front and really only the two small wheels at the back, which was quite annoying, but we did manage to get it semi-working for the event, and you can kind of tell that we were a little bit jittery when I kind of rammed into the wall right here. Yeah, but anyways, this fight definitely was a very good performance. Even with a few gripes, we were very happy with how the bot was working. We did accidentally kill Vito for the event by taking out one of its drive sides that we didn't have a replacement of, so Geronimo filled in the role for Vito for the rest of the event. But now getting to the actual damage, and this is where things were really a bad omen for the rest of the event to come. The spinner was held together in kind of a sandwich assembly with screws that held together both of the spinners and the pulley in the middle. These screws that were holding the whole spinner together had definitely sheared a little bit through the Osmia fight, which was a big concern because we did not have any stronger screws available, because we didn't really realize it as a problem until the event, which was a massive shame because most likely it would happen in all of our future fights. We did have a lot of those spares screws and spare spinners, so we were hoping if we just completely replaced everything, then it would be able to work the same way for the full match without snapping, but it was a little bit wishful thinking, and we'll see what happened with that in the next match. But in the end, it was a great first matchup for the bot against Osmia, and definitely a fun one that I won't forget. Now, I'm going to show a little bit of footage from after the fight took place.
Alright, cool. We won first fight, 90% sure. I don't even know how we check. Do you know how we check?
Nah, no idea.
I don't know how we check.
99% sure.
Yeah, so the robot's back together. Put the weapon log in a second. So this was the original drum. The screws sheared and broke off, but they kept spinning. The belt wrapped around and flipped around, but it kept spinning at the end too, which was good. So everything's basically fine. We just topped off the battery, fixed this weapon. Should be good for the bracket. We'll see what happens. Vito died. This motor died because FiliBuster hit it, so, you know, a little bit of cannibalism, but oh well. We'll go into the next match. We'll have Geronimo from Chef Boyardee as our mini-bot. It's not Vito. Just Vito, maybe Vito, whatever. Okay, next fight soon.
The next matchup of the event was in the main tournament up against Skidmark. I don't have a picture of it, but it is a very powerful vertical spinner with two cleated wheels in the back, which meant it is very fast and very, very powerful. They had beaten Pandemonium earlier in the day, so we knew that this was definitely not going to be an easy fight for us. We kept the same setup, of course, because it was once again a 4 bot that we were fighting. We were hoping that we could win the 4 game and maybe be able to control them around, but this was definitely going to be a very challenging fight, especially because we would definitely be weaker on the speed side. But with that being said, let's go to the second fight for FiliBuster. FiliBuster versus Skidmark. So yeah, this didn't go very well. At the beginning, it was a pretty solid start. We were both exchanging a few hits. They got stuck kind of in the same spot we got stuck in the first time, and we were able to get a decent shot on their back, but after that, they were freed. We did take a look, and that hit that we did actually managed to gash pretty decent way through their chassis and almost hit one of their internals, but unfortunately, it was just not meant to be. And after that, they were pretty much in control for most of the fight. They were chucking Geronimo around absolutely everywhere. They flipped us on our back, and like I said, going back to that spinner issue with the screw shearing, it happened again, and we were out of our spinner, so we couldn't use it to self-right, and we couldn't use it for any offensive purposes, and we were pretty much screwed. They also managed to take out one of our drive sides, so in general at the end, we were very, very dead. They kept completely pounding Vito, aka Geronimo, into the stars. It was quite the wild experience in this one. They got stuck for a while too. In the middle of the fight, there was just a really long kind of dead period where the Brett kept trying to free us, but they weren't able to, and then they eventually just quit and then freed Skidmark, and then Skidmark just went around hitting us for a while because we wanted to have the fight go the full 3 minutes, and the bot really did not have a fun time at the end there. In terms of damage, like we said, we lost one of the drive sides, but we did have a spare motor for the next day, so that was not too much of an issue, and we were able to get a new spinner setup, even if, like I said, the sheared screws were still an issue. In the end, this was our last matchup of the main tournament because it was only single elimination after the first qualifier round. It was a bit of a shame that we were out already, but that's just how the events go sometimes. Great fight against Skidmark. They definitely have a very fearsome bot, and hopefully we can fight them again at a future competition.
No. So, yikes. That motor is done. It's come off. Yeah, that went badly.
My thing is like, the thing wants to fall out to keep.
Yeah, this is also very. Oh wow, the TPU actually took a good bit of hits though. Yeah, you can go get that plugged in.
You know what?
Oh well, we tried our best.
Although we were unfortunately out of the main competition, we did stay around a little bit longer on that same first day to see how the rest of our friends did at the event. Sad Octopus made it quite far, losing to Chainsaw Kitty in one of the rounds, I don't remember which one, but Sad Octopus had a really great event, and that is a very fearsome bot. Death by the Hit also managed to win a fight in the main tournament before losing to Crash Fest, so we didn't go as far as both of them, which is a shame. But, you know, that's just how it goes, and that was the end of the first day for us combat-wise, and we came back the second day for some grudges. Some of you guys may remember our fight against Hive Smash last year, which was a really good fight, in which case they kind of completely destroyed us, as well as Spirit of Taiwan, in a very fun fight. We decided to have a rematch with them at this event, to maybe get a little bit of revenge, but also to test and see how the bot would do against a horizontal spinner. With that being said, let's go and look at the rematch between FiliBuster and Hive Smashin'.
I started.
We'll give it a shot. Good shot, we did.
You guys ready?
Yep.
We got a win to start. Referee, catch 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, we took out the belt.
You have half a spinner. Red half still going.
Yeah.
Honey Craig lost their belt, they lost their motor.
That was early too. Oh, we lost both spinners.
Oh, you video on YouTube. Size. You can see it right there.
Oh, I see.
There you go. I have no idea where you guys stuck.
So why was the drive so silly? A few things. So we had to use slightly different sized wheels in order to get the drive working properly because like we said earlier, the drive of this bot really did suck trying to get it ready for this event, which was a pretty big shame, and as you could kind of tell, one side really wasn't able to get good contact with the ground because we had to sand down one side and unfortunately it was still just a little bit off, so one side of the drive really wasn't touching the ground at all. We had little casters in the front you embedded in the little TPU that helped with maneuverability, but those really could not help us at all here with one of the wheels basically up off the floor. So breaking down what actually happened in the match, they immediately broke those screws that held the spinner together, immediately basically getting rid of the effectiveness of one of the spinners. With that one spinner, we were able to get rid of their weapon pulley. They did say that they had to splice the pulley back together again to get in a fight, which was why it broke much easier than it probably would have otherwise. But right after that, the screws came out basically the rest of the way, and our spinner was completely dead. So it was a robot with no arms and one leg fighting a robot with no arms but both legs, because we were not able to drive that well, while Hive Smashing was still pretty functional in terms of drive, but none of us had our weapons, so it was kind of a snooze fest for the rest of the way. We really didn't go to any official decision because they don't do that for grudges, but I think it could probably be agreed that we did not win that fight. So now we are 0-2 against Hive Smashing. Maybe we'll get them next time, I don't know. But I want to thank the Hive Smashing team for once again deciding to fight us. This was a very, very fun little rematch, even if we really weren't able to do a whole lot. Now came time for the most important matchup of the event, not really. Our fight against Death by the Hit, round 2. We managed to take them out last year, and we were hoping to do it again this year. They had a bit of a different design this time with a few different configs, and we decided to keep on the main config with the horizontal titanium plates because we were too lazy to change them. This fight had major things on the line, including stupid bragging rights and a really silly looking trophy that may or may not be on the screen. But with all that being said, let's get down to the grudge match between FiliBuster and Death by the Hit.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fight, robot, fight!
Why would you do that? Why would you do that? And I told you to wait for me. I hope you lose now. You ruined my fun. Oh.
Can I keep going?
In all of my years of fighting robots, I have never been more angry than this moment right here, when I try to fly up my drone and filming buddy comes by and hits it immediately, thus rendering the drone useless. I went through so much effort to get this drone working, a whole 15 minutes, and then he immediately killed it. Rest in peace, drone. I will never forgive you for this, filming buddy. In regards to the fight, Death by the Hit had some issues with driving, so in the end, there really wasn't much that happened. We landed a few good hits, and that was basically it. We are now 2-0 against Death by the Hit, which was always fun. But with that out of the way, let's get to our last Grudge match against Staying Alive of Team Honey Cracked.
Is the weapon slowing down?
Just put it in.
There you go. There you go.
This was a great back and forth match, and this was definitely one of my favorite fights of the event. While we weren't able to get the W, at least in my eyes, I think we definitely had some really good moments, but once again, our spinner ended up having issues, like the last few losses, which unfortunately is just not something we were able to overcome this event. Had we had better screws, it definitely wouldn't have been as big as an issue for us, but that's just how things go sometimes. Managed to get a lot of decent hits on them. We managed to flip them over at the start, but after that, they really managed to kick it into high gear and landed a lot of big shots on us, including cracking our top plate, which was polycarbonate, so it was kind of a matter of time until eventually it split. This was even our backup top plate, as our original one got a bit damaged in the fight against Skidmark. But in the end, this was the last matchup of the event for us. We weren't able to pick up the win, but it was a fun one, and we finished our event at a record of 2-3 combined, 1-1 in the main competition. So the old version of the FiliBuster went 2-3 at the 2022 July Norwalk Havoc. The new version of FiliBuster went 2-3, same as last time. Although, I think it's pretty clear that this one was a lot better than the previous one, even if the record really didn't show it. We definitely had a lot of fun getting this bot together and competing with it. Unfortunately, we weren't able to go too far, but that's just how it goes in such a competitive field like Norwalk. This is definitely one of the most competitive events in the entire world. Really had a lot of fun, and we definitely will be back for a future competition. Not sure if we're going to bring back FiliBuster or not. We both are working on our own new designs. I am working on a new version of Yugoslav Theater as a 3-pound bot, and Filming Buddy is working on something I am scared of. So, you know it's going to be cool. But in the end, I think that's going to be it for me for now. Thank you guys so much for watching. This video is a little bit late, but at least I made it, and that's really all that matters. But anyway guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.